listeners. I'm Mombierella, and I am co-hostess list today. We had some things come up, but today we have a very special guest. Thank you so much for joining us today, Steve. This is Steve Werblun. I hope I said your last name right. I'm apologizing.
You did, and thank you for having me here. This is very nice.
So, if you have never heard of the O.J. Simpson trial, you should definitely look it up because apparently it has been 30 years ago now. I did not realize this was the 30th anniversary since then. And this was a huge trial. And Steve was the courtroom artist from this trial. And this was, probably one of the first really worldwide televised court cases along these lines. And it was crazy. So not only that though, but Steve also is an artist himself. Like he actually has some art that I've seen some of his art. It's really actually neat. It's almost got like the psychedelic style. Is that the way that you describe it?
Pretty much stream of consciousness illustrations with no composition. Yeah.
And then also he's got some other talents. He's written 12 screenplays. Is that right?
That's correct. And 2 of them are up on the block right now to be made. And we can talk about that as we go into this.
That is awesome. So let me start off with, you said it's an interesting story before about how you became a courtroom artist. So let me ask you about your story of how you became a courtroom artist.
Okay. Well, it's a story.
I'm so sorry. I have never done the intro myself, and I'm used to CJ helping me. So let me say, sorry, guys, get your wands to the ready real quick before we get into that.
I got my wand ready.
Welcome to Magic Making Mischief. And we solemnly swear we're up to no good.
All right. I know I am. That's for sure.
All right.
Okay. Well, I'm currently writing a book about not my career because it's too vast to talk about, but the very first night that I actually became a courtroom artist. And it's a wild story. It's an unbelievable story, and it's all true. I'll tell it to you very quickly. The book itself will reveal a lot more information than this, but I wanted to be a courtroom artist, and I lived in Philadelphia. This is 1976, and they don't, I wanted to be a filmmaker, and they don't have a film industry in Philadelphia. So I thought, well, television would be the next way to get my artwork on TV with my name up there. But how do I become a courtroom artist? I had no idea. Anyway, so a friend of mine gave me a press pass. He was a photographer for one of the local newspapers in Philadelphia. He said, why don't you go down to the moving of the Liberty Bell on New Year's Eve? It was the inaugural event of the bicentennial. And they were going to move Liberty Bell out of Independence Hall for the first time since it's been there 200 years. So I said, I took his press pass and I went down to the Independence Hall and I had a front row seat. I got in front of 150,000 spectators. It was absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Now, I had a perfect view of everything that was happening, but it was snowing, it was sleeting, it was hailing, it was raining. It was 32 degrees below zero, and the winds were so high, I don't even want to talk about it. So how was I going to draw anything? I couldn't draw anything. I didn't draw anything. I just had a great record of it in my mind, but, I came home empty-handed. At 3 a.m., my phone rings. It's New Year's Eve, 3 a.m. My phone rings. My friend, the photographer, says, the newspapers need your drawing. They want your drawing. I said, why? They had 20 photographers out there. He says, yeah, but none of them were able to get a photo because their strobe lights were wet. None of them would work.
Wow.
Okay, call the newspaper. All right. 3 a.m., call the newspaper, call the editor. Yeah, definitely bring it down. We'll be here, at this time and we'll get it, okay, sure. I didn't have a drawing. I wasn't going to draw anything. I didn't draw anything. So from memory, I took out a 30 by 40 inch wash painting and just did the entire thing that I remembered, which is the bell coming out, covered in plastic, people pushing it, mounted guards, National Guard, people in the window above, the photographers I talked about, everybody in the rain. You could see the rain hitting the ground. It was an amazing picture. Wow. And so what they did was they loved it. They just loved it, and they printed it on the first page of their newspaper on the day after New Year's. They didn't have a printing on New Year's Day, but their logo is the Liberty Bell. So they were a very perfect venue to have this illustration on the cover. Since then, I've donated it to the National Historical Society. So it's a piece of history. But the first question the editor asked me, as soon as he said, here's your $35, he said, Have you ever done courtroom art before? This is the main reason I went down there. And it was such a weird opportunity, but it happened for me. It did. I was noticed, and I did get the job I went down there to get, and the one after that too. Now you fast forward 20 years, and this same artist is now covering the biggest trial of the century in history, period, for the largest networks on the planet, NBC and CNN. And that's my story.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think the only trial that even compares at this point is maybe the Johnny Depp trial that happened. Like, was that a couple of years ago now? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's about 2 years ago. Yeah.
I know that one was really big, and that one was being televised all over. So, but then they were actually in the courtroom at that point, so it was a little different. Like with the O.J. Simpson trial, there were no cameras in that courtroom. That was like you were in the courtroom.
Well, they had cameras in the courtroom. They just wouldn't allow them any movement. So they had to focus on just the witness and the lawyer, Yeah. I was able to, draw everything. The jury, defendants in the courtroom, everywhere. I could do everything. Judge Ito and I had a very unique relationship during the trial because two things happened. One, my original drawings, well, they're over here, but I have a show starting next week, so I'm preparing for it, actually, of the O.J. Simpson artwork. It's here in Los Angeles. But the drawings were done on a 17 by 22 inch piece of paper, very big. And I'm sitting there in the courtroom, in the third row, and I'm drawn. And the judge stops the testimony. He says, "Mr. Werblun." I said, like, what are you calling me for? He goes, "Yeah, listen, you need to, reduce the size of your drawing paper." He said, "Why?" He goes, "Because the jury is paying attention to you." And that's the testimony. I said, "Oh boy, okay." And I did. That remark made me change the size of my paper. Wow. It went down half, like 50%. So, and what he did every day, if I would draw the jury or a questionable witness, he would say, "I need to see the drawing, Mr. Werblun." And, I would have to disguise the drawing so that it didn't actually show the real detail of
That's what I was going to ask as far as like the jury goes, because I know you're not allowed to share who's actually in there. Did you have to choose them? That's cool.
Right. And that was primarily what he was after. Every time I drew that jury, I had to show him my drawing first before it went on the air.
Oh, wow.
Now, that's very flattering when you look at it that way. Am I that good? Am I that good? Seriously. But yeah, he did that. So. But yeah, the O.J. trial was a landmark for me because it changed my life completely. It also took me from behind the cameras to being in front of them. With 24/7 coverage for over a year, television stations were hungry for new people to talk to every day. Being as close to everything as I was and who I was, I became a primo candidate. And I appeared on about 3 to 5 shows, national talk shows or news magazine shows, whatever they are, every single day for over a year.
Wow.
And I could not walk down the street. I'm an artist. People don't know me. All of a sudden they know me. And, if honest to God, I don't mean to be, I'm not trying to, I just got to tell you this. During the O.J. trial, I would see, like for a Caucasian gentleman, they would see me, they'd recognize me, and they go get him. Now, if I saw an African-American person and they recognize me, they go O.J.
Oh. Well, and honestly, you were a completely neutral party. You were just an observer as an artist. So yeah, that'd be.
Exactly. But nevertheless, they recognized me and they felt, that's compelled to just, give their 2 cents on the matter. But it happened on a regular basis and it changed my life. It really did. It threw me into the stratosphere of things. So I'm not just a courtroom artist anymore. I'm doing a lot of other things. In fact, it allowed me to do a lot of other things, the exposure. I'm a writer. I've got 12 scripts. 2 of them are in, they're going to be made. Okay. I just got the word on that. But, I've also got so many other things going on, even as a writer. So, but I'm a busy boy. What can I say?
And you said you've got a book that you're actually working on in regards to your experience with the O.J. Simpson trial. Is that right?
Well, I wanted to do that, but I decided not to yet. Okay. I'm doing a book on the story that I opened with, that I told you about.
How you became a
much more suspenseful and dramatic and interesting, and it comes out with a wild ending that nobody believes. I mean, it's how unreal is that?
That's an awesome. Well, and the series of events, that's awesome. Like you gotta love that.
And my agent told me, she said it's a movie. I said, well, I know that, and
Right.
you know that, but let's make a book and we'll see if anybody else wants to do it. So she said, yeah, please get it to me ASAP. So I've been working on that too. I don't have time to do anything anymore. I've become so busy that I have to like make a list, a calendar list of everything I have to do. But it's been very exciting. It's been very exciting. You know, I'm an old guy. I'm not a young kid. And I had a lot of this happen when I was in my 30s and 40s. But to have it again at this age is really something else. Something else.
Amazing. So you mentioned another thing that since you're talking about mentioned your screenplays again. There's a special theater that you're part of that's being built. Did you want to talk about that?
I would love to. I would love to. I don't know how many people are even aware of immersive theaters. The best example that I can show you is the Sphere in Las Vegas that you two have been playing at for the last month. They have other performers in there. What the idea is, I've partnered with a virtual reality company in Montreal, and they want to make the very first full-length feature film in a narrative format, you know, in an immersive exhibition. So there's nothing like that out there right now. There's little snippets of things. There's animation, little bits of entertainment, but there's no movie, you know, made exclusively for this particular type of technology. It's new, it's groundbreaking, and this company has decided that the first film they want to make is based on my script. That's I've written 12, but this is one of my favorites, and it's called The Mayan Tear. It's a sci-fi fantasy. I wrote it 30 years ago, and it's just I've never given up on it, you know. And then this opportunity came around to me, and I thought to myself, what better vehicle to launch this type of product with this kind of movie? And they agreed. So the idea now is that we are not only raising money, but we're also looking for digital animators and producers all over the place. I've been talking to them every week in Europe. So it's very exciting for me to do this. I've sort of graduated from being just an artist for hire to a producer, director, screenwriter. So it's where I always wanted to be. And I'm just hoping it continues like this. That's all.
Awesome.
That would be an amazing opportunity, not only for me, but for anybody that goes in to see this thing. I mean, we're talking about a movie that covers you completely, all around you.
Yeah,
It's
the screen's
immersive.
completely like a complete dome. What was
Exactly.
what was the name of the? I'm sorry, it was called. Was it the Wisdom? Was that what they?
Yes. Yes. My good friend Scott Page, he's the sax player with Pink Floyd. I've been performing there for years, and what he does is puts on a Pink Floyd tribute with some major players, and they have this animation all over the dome, and it synchronizes with their music, and it's overwhelming. It's like a psychedelic experience, unlike you've experienced in the theater before.
That makes total sense with Pink Floyd too, because wasn't Pink Floyd the one where you're supposed to watch The Wizard of Oz with one of the albums?
Yeah, that was just a bunch of press, but yeah, you could. They never made it for that reason.
I don't know if that was
Yeah, no, they never made it.
But I can picture that with the whole surround, animation or anything.
They could do it. Yeah. But in this particular instance, for example, I mean, let's say you're watching us on a flat screen. We don't have that anymore. It goes up around us, all around us. Okay. So if let's say a car comes roaring past the camera, it's roaring over your head. You know what I mean? Or from the side, it comes around you. I mean, it's immersive. It's totally something that hasn't been seen before in a theater ever.
That's amazing. I was thinking, can you imagine something like Lord of the Rings where you're just surrounded by everything in there? That would be so.
Yeah, it's the perfect type of film, Now, I understand they've been transferring films that exist into the format to show them this way, but it's not the same. It's like colorizing a black and white film. It wasn't done that way. Right. So if you do it with the perspectives in mind, it's a whole different thing. Right. In fact, I'm a storyboard artist. Excuse me. And I'm just wondering how the hell to storyboard something like this, because it's circular. It's not a square, it's circular and it's all around you. So it should be interesting. But we're raising money, and they've chosen my script, and I'm all excited about that.
That's awesome. Well, and where is this located? Because if someone wanted to see it whenever it comes out.
Well, first of all, it's not located anywhere yet. The Canadian government has just granted a financial grant to this company so that they can build Spheres theaters.
But is it going to be built in Montreal first, or
I imagine so. I don't know the specifics on it yet, but I can find out. I've just been involved in so many things. I really mean it. I'm kind of dizzy. No, it's just been crazy. But I do have to pick up the conversations with that film the end of this week. I'm going to do that.
Right.
So, yeah, and that would be the biggest thing that ever happened to me if we make that film. No question about it. No question about it.
It'd be amazing. I can imagine. Especially if it's one you've written, it's quite a while back, waiting for that to become a reality. That would be.
Yeah. And then, it comes out in a different format. It's not even, the same way you wrote it. It's completely, unique. So yeah, no, I'm all for it.
As somebody who films a lot, like for my stuff, it's like, I can't imagine, like, I guess like the 360 camera is the closest I can think of that would be able to do that. But like, or multiple cameras to get all those angles to be able to use it all.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it has to be multiple angles, and they put them all together to do that. And I've got people that are able to do that stuff. I don't have my head wrapped around that yet, but I know that the process is very, very marketable and it can be exploited to the nth degree. And this would be the first film of, that would be made in that specifically for this format. Yeah. And the Wisdom was in LA. It still is. They still show, they have a group of spheres together. The Wisdom is actually the biggest one they have, but they have, they show animation on these things. They still do it. It's there for people if they want to see it in the Arts District in Los Angeles. It's called The Wisdom. Awesome. Scott is out venturing in different areas now, but he's a great guy. He's helping me with this thing because he's into the virtual technology and things, so
that's really
good.
You have a gallery coming up in regards to the O.J. Simpson trial art.
Yeah, it's an exhibition here in Los Angeles. It opens February 3rd. There's first night. There's a party, so it starts at 5. And it's a 30th anniversary marking of the O.J. Simpson case. And it's been 30 years, which is kind of hard to believe. But yeah, I know. So I have, I still have several hundred illustrations that I haven't sold. And I'm going to display about 50 of them. And then I'll be there talking about them as well. But it'll be some history, and just mark the 30th anniversary of the trial. Awesome. I have quite a few drawings there. I just I'm in the process of picking them out right now. So, but yeah, I tell you, it's busy time.
Right. You've definitely got your hands full.
And there's another thing that I'm not allowed to talk about, which is as big as anything else here. So I just have to tease everybody and say that I'm executive producing a podcast that's going to be coming up soon. And it will involve a very famous creative human being, probably one of the greatest artists of our time, not past time. But I can't tell you who it is yet. We're working on it, and I'll let you know as well. You'll see when it comes out, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm zipped. I can't say anything else. So, but yeah, no, there are quite a few things going on for me right now. So it's a good time to come talk to you today.
So if they want to know whenever you're able to release information about your podcast and stuff that's coming up, is that available on your Instagram?
I will place an ad there. Yes, I will definitely make an announcement there. The announcements will be everywhere. I mean, it's such a big event that I can't tell you. I'm sorry. I was told just an hour ago.
It's boiling under the surface there.
Keep your mouth shut, So I can't say anything yet. But suffice to say that it will be huge.
Awesome. Yeah. So for those listening, in the scroll underneath us, we have his Instagram. It is instagram.com/Werblun, WERBLUN. So definitely keep up with updates there. Now we have about 10 minutes left before we wrap it up. And I wanted to ask, so for people who are aspiring artists or even looking to be courtroom artists, something along the lines of what you were hoping to be in the beginning, do you have any advice for them on how they could get started or like encouragement for as they go along?
Well, I do, but in my case, I'm not your normal person, so I don't have a normal story of how to get started. Obviously, nobody's going to repeat that story. But the thing is, you need to just, if first of all, I would advise you not to go after courtroom art. That's the only thing, because there's not a lot of it out there. The stations are very loyal, is the word, to the people that they do use. And that's why you never, because they don't want anybody to go on there and make a mistake and they don't get the drawing on at 12 o'clock. They have to trust somebody. I did it for 35 years, and I'm not doing it full time anymore. I just substitute for people. But the fact is, there are not a lot of jobs doing it. And therefore, I wouldn't even advise anybody to go into courtroom art. I mean, if they are crazy like me and they absolutely have to do it, then go for it. But, it's like I say, it's changed over the years,
Okay.
It's changed over the years.
There's a lot of competition that they just kind of like to stick with.
It's not even competition. It's money. They don't want to spend the money on an artist. And then when they find an artist, they don't want to change because that artist is constantly delivering to them, So it's kind of like they don't want to trust anybody else. You know what I'm saying? They don't trust anybody else. And that's the main reason. So, but it's not that big a field. I mean, if you look throughout the country, I don't know, is there maybe 100 courtroom artists in the country? I don't even know if there's that many.
Yeah, I don't actually know. It's not something I've really.
No, it's not.
Like you see it out there, but it's like you don't unless you're an art. Like I'm not. Sadly, I have no artistic talent when it comes to like drawing, painting, anything. My daughter's wonderful, but like I am horrible.
I can that's okay. That's why we have us. We're around, So we can balance it out.
So usually, like I've got this new thing behind me. I was going to point this out on here. It's my colorful little chain my kids and me made. We shared on the my YouTube channel recently that we have a vacation coming up. So this is our countdown chain. So this will shrink as
okay.
I don't usually have this.
Get the whole gang in on it there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've actually been considering going on the first since the 2020 shutdown vacation cruise. This is what we're planning on going on.
So it's just delayed a little bit, huh?
Yes, it's been a couple of years now, but we're really excited about that. So
well, that's cool. Definitely, I'd be excited too. You taking me? Am I coming?
You can drop
packed. I'll get packed. Oh gosh. And the other thing I would suggest to artists, if they want to do anything in this business, anything, I don't care. If it's you want to draw bathrooms for ads for newspapers, start drawing bathrooms, start making up ads. Whatever you want to do, you need to imitate or do it the same way that you would do it if you were doing it professionally. Storyboards. For me, I watched movies forever when I was a kid. I never stopped. So that when I took my first storyboard test at a studio, they said to me, "Oh, have you ever done storyboards before?" And I said, "No." And they go, "Well, here, take this test." That's how they do it. They give you, a few frames or a page of script, and you have to figure out the shots. Oh, wow. So I would do it, and I only did it a couple of times like that. But each time I did it, the director would say, "You're lying to me. Why'd you lie to me?" I go, "What do you mean lie to you? You said you never did this before." I said, "I never did." He goes, "I don't believe you." And I said, "Well, you're going to hire me?" And he goes, "Yes." So it was kind of like that, So I was already educated in film before I got here. I learned it by watching it. And so I would say if anybody wants to do something of that nature, they need to do the exact same thing. Watch movies, break down scene for scene, and, see how the director tells you the story, And being a screenwriter doesn't hurt, but, it doesn't come anywhere near doing storyboards with people. You don't let it interfere. It's two different things, In fact, if you're working for somebody in the studio, don't ever tell them that you have your own script and your own ideas because they'll fire your ass.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the truth. It's happened to me before, too. I mean, you got to just listen, shut up, and do what they say. That's why I like this new role that I have here because I'm going to be that person now, so.
That was awesome. Yeah. I really appreciate you joining me today. I'm sorry it's just me. Usually I have company, but I appreciate
You're fine. I'd rather look at you anyway. So that's
so I actually met Steve for the first time at TerraFest last year. And he got there. I actually did share the panel from that as well. So
Oh.
some of his stuff was in there. We've got about 4 minutes left. Real quick before I wrap it up. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share today that's coming up, or anything in particular?
Oh my God.
I know you have a lot right now.
I know I do. I just, the main things are basically what I told you, and then trying to make this immersive film, be a reality is the number one thing. And I'm working on a film. I forgot to tell you that. Yeah, I'm working on a film right now. And what happened was I have cataracts in my eye, so I can't see very well. And I was working for a month, and I had to stop for a month. I have surgery tomorrow on my eye. So once that's done, I should be able to go back to work. And but I'm storyboarding a film at the moment. It's called The Last Ladder. And then they want to fly me out to Texas to be the art director for the film when they start shooting it in late February, probably. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, if I sit here and think long enough, I'll tell you some other things too. But it literally is the busiest time of my life, and I'm an old guy, so that it should all happen now is pretty wild.
That's awesome, though. You think the 30th anniversary of the trial has a lot to do with that right now, with a lot of that coming up?
I don't know.
Or just kind of an amalgamation of things.
Yeah, it's my time. That's all. My daughter, she's into all this stuff. It's the age of Aquarius. She says, "Dad, it's your time." So I'm just going with the flow, And my personal life too has a lot of things happening in it. I don't need to get into that, but the fact is, it's a time in my life where everything is like singing. I'm just like dizzy, literally. I mean, I had to find the time to do this podcast today in the right way. So, I mean, I appreciate that we did it. It was very nice. Perfect timing too. So I like that. And if anybody is in the North Hollywood area, if they live here in California and they would like to meet me and come to the show of O.J. Simpson artwork, it's at the Carter Sexton Art Supplies store, which is the oldest art supply store in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow.
I've frequented it since I've been here, 36 years. And it's 5 o'clock in the evening till 7 o'clock in the evening on Saturday, February 3rd. So if you're in the area, please come join us. It'd be great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you being here. And
my pleasure. I really enjoyed being here. And you'll have to tell Dirk I said hello too.
I definitely will. For those who don't know, he runs the TerraFest and Kimakwai events that happen out in Conroe, right. Texas. Excuse me.
And that's how Mombi and I met, because I've known Dirk now for about 10 years. He published one of my stories in his comic books. Yeah, and we finally got to meet last year. He invited me to be part of the TerraFest, and that's when I met Mombi, which was really great.
Well, that was really great. I'm so glad we ran into each other there and got a chance to have you come on. So that just opened up the doors for more stuff to put on your to-do list, right?
There you go. I know. Well, but hey, it worked out, so that's good.
You weren't busy enough. We needed you to have some more.
Yeah, right. I know. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Make sure to check out the social media links and our YouTube channels This one is pre-recorded. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that before. So if we didn't reply to your comments, I apologize, but we will come back and see you guys. Love you guys. Thanks for joining us. And get your wands to the ready.
My wand. Okay, I'm ready.
Until next time, mischief managed. Bye.
Bye.